I think that I've now at 63 years. Old suddenly owned that it's not a bad thing to speak your voice to speak. There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s. The walls of Montecito are shaking again. And this time not because of some Netflix camera crew or PR stunt gone sideways. No, this one hit harder. Meghan Markle is reportedly in full-blown meltdown mode after none other than Sarah Ferguson, yes, Fergie, herself decided to spill some long buried secrets that have sent royal insiders and Hollywood circles into complete chaos. What Fergie just revealed about Meghan's yacht days and her alleged connection to a certain duke, long before Prince Harry has set off a royal scandal so wild that even Buckingham Palace had to break its silence behind closed doors. But wonder she's grab a cup of tea because this isn't just a rumor mill. This the kind of story that makes the crown tremble and Hollywood gossip columns explode. Oh, started quietly, too quietly. Fergie was promoting her latest book during a relaxed interview, the kind that was supposed to be about her journey of healing and forgiveness. The tone was mellow, nostalgic, until one particular moment when the interviewer casually mentioned Meghan Markle's modern influence on the monarchy. And that's when the air changed. According to witnesses, Fergie's expression tightened. She paused, tilted her head, and said, "Oh, Meghan, well, let's just say she's not the first young woman who's been fascinated by royal life or the perks that come with it." The interviewer laughed awkwardly, but Fergie didn't. She just smiled that sly, knowing Fergie smile and continued, "I remember years ago there were whispers about a certain yacht. Summer. You know those glamorous trips where everyone's playing dress up, chasing attention, and hoping someone important is watching. And then the line that detonated the internet. Some of those faces ended up in very unexpected places, including Buckingham Palace." The collective gasp of royal watchers everywhere. Eye on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's former home, Frogmore Cottage. Because, as Sharpied fans immediately noticed, there's one famous yacht trip from the early 2000s that has haunted Meghan's internet history for years. A series of glamorous parties hosted off the coast of Greece and Monaco where models, Hollywood hopefuls, and wealthy power players mingled. And guess who was reportedly part of those elite gatherings? A young, ambitious actress. And as rumors go, one particular royal guest, the Duke of York, Prince Andrew. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, no one's saying Meghan was romantically involved with Andrew, but the implication was enough to cause a meltdown of royal proportions. Because what Fergie's words did, intentionally or not, was reopen the most controversial and career-threatening chapter in Meghan Markle's pre-royal life, the yacht girl allegations. Told to vacate Windsor's Royal Lodge. So, within hours, Twitter and TikTok were ablaze with the hashtag Fergie said it. As old photos, speculative blog posts, and conspiracy threads began resurfacing, some even claimed Fergie had confirmed long-whispered Hollywood connections that Meghan spent years trying to bury. Inside Montecito, Meghan was reportedly furious beyond words. Sources close to her told the Mirror that she accused Fergie of jealousy and betrayal, insisting she had never met Andrew socially and that the yacht rumors were misogynistic lies designed to destroy her credibility. But here's the kicker. Fergie didn't backtrack. In fact, just 24 hours later, she doubled. When paparazzi caught her outside Claridge's Hotel in London, one shouted, "Fergie, what did you mean about Meghan? And the yacht summer?" Fergie, ever the seasoned scandal survivor, smirked and said, "Oh darling, I don't tell those. I just remind people that every fairy tale starts somewhere." The single line sent shockwaves across the royal and entertainment world. Because if there's one thing Fergie knows, it's how to deliver a scandal with a smile. Behind the scenes, royal insiders say Buckingham Palace was not amused, but Fergie has technically been on the fringes of royal duty for years. Her words still carry weight, especially when they involve a duchess who's already on shaky ground with the crown. Epstein and King Charles has very much been dragged into this. The king has been heckled during an official royal aide reportedly told the Daily Mail the palace has no interest in rehashing Meghan Markle's past, but Sarah's remarks couldn't have come at a worse time. The king is focused on unity, and this has reopened wounds that were barely starting to heal. In plain English, Fergie just threw gasoline on it. Fire the royals were desperately trying to extinguish. But why now? Why would Fergie, who's known what it feels like to be publicly humiliated, risk taking a jab at Meghan? According to Palace sources, it's about respect or lack. Though apparently Fergie felt slighted by Meghan after multiple instances where the Duchess of Sussex allegedly dismissed her during the early days of royal life. Remember that awkward moment at Princess Eugenie's wedding? Insiders claim Meghan's pregnancy announcement that day, overshadowing Eugene's big moment, infuriated Fergie. One insider even said Fergie felt it was classic. Meghan was turning someone else's celebration into her own headline. So when the opportunity arose years later to remind the world of Meghan's less than perfect past, Fergie couldn't resist a little royal payback. And let's be honest, no one plays the long game of revenge like the Windsor. Meanwhile, Hollywood went into panic. Meghan's PR team reportedly started scrubbing certain search results and quietly contacting outlets asking them not to reference old defamatory rumors. But as we all know, the internet doesn't forget. Old blog posts reappeared. Archive photos resurfaced. Former industry insiders started whispering about who Meghan used to know and how she got in certain rooms. Matters worse, Andrew's name being even remotely connected, even through implication, set off alarm bells across every PR office in Los Angeles. Because if there's one thing no one wants to be tied to, it's anything even adjacent to Prince Andrew's scandalous reputation. As one PR insider put it bluntly, Ferg's hinting Meghan was anywhere near that circle, even socially, it's a PR nightmare. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. By the second day, the headlines had gone global. Fergie's cryptic comment sparks royal panic. Montecito and meltdown. Meghan furious at Duchess Sarah's yacht remarks. Was Meghan's past more connected to the royals than we thought? Publicly apologized for taking abusers' cash and vowed to cut. It was like the ghosts of Meghan's pre-royal life had come marching out of the archives. And this time she couldn't control the narrative. In fact, some fans noticed something strange. Meghan's official website and her lifestyle trademarks went unusually quiet. Posts, no new projects, no sightings in Los Angeles, just eerie silence. According to sources close to her inner circle, she'd locked herself in crisis meetings, demanding statements from her publicist, calling old acquaintances, even reaching out to Eugenie. Awkwardly is now caught between her mother and her once close cousin-in-law. But here's where it gets even more twisted. Fergie's camp reportedly isn't backing down either. People close to Sarah have hinted that she has more stories that could clear up a lot about who was chasing who in those early days before Meghan met Harry. If that's true, then this is only the beginning. Because for years, Meghan's team has fought to distance her from that particular chapter, the yacht trips, the networking circles, the Hollywood hustling that predated her royal glow-up. But with Fergie breaking the unspoken royal rule, never expose the past. The floodgates might just be open. And now Meghan's worst nightmare might be unfolding. Her pre-Duchess world colliding with her post-royal image in full public view. The once untouchable Duchess of Sussex is suddenly cornered by Fergie's wit, the internet's receipts, and a past that refuses to stay buried. And the question everyone's asking now is, what will Meghan do next? Because one thing's certain. If there's one person who knows how to fight back harder than anyone, it's Meghan Markle. But this the opponent isn't a tabloid, a critic, or a palace aide. It's another Duchess, one who knows the royal battlefield far too well. And Meghan might just be about to learn what happens when you try to outplay Fergie at her own game. The walls of Montecito had never felt smaller. The moment the story broke that Fergie, yes, Sarah Ferguson herself, had dared to mention Meghan's old social circle, it was like a spark in a gas-soaked room. Meghan wasn't just upset, she was furious. Those close to her said she paced the marble floors, phone in hand, firing off messages to her inner circle. Her tone clipped, sharp, controlled fury. This wasn't just gossip. To her, it was a personal betrayal. After everything I've done for that family, she reportedly muttered under her breath, disbelief twisting into anger. But if Meghan had learned one thing from her Hollywood days, it was this: when someone tries to define your story, you take the pen back. And that's exactly what she planned to. Within hours, her team, the same PR force that had shaped her rise from Duchess to digital brand powerhouse, was mobilized. Crisis meetings, late night calls, and a flurry of no comments from representatives hinted that something big was brewing. Behind the scenes, Meghan was crafting what one insider called her counter-narrative. The goal? Reclaim the spotlight before anyone else could control the headlines. And in typical Meghan fashion, she didn't go. Well, rumor had it she'd reached out to a major streaming executive about a new kind of documentary, a reclaiming of truth. It wasn't just a clapback. It was a full-scale rebrand. A modern Duchess, unbothered by whispers. Except there was one problem. Fergie wasn't backing down. According to palace watchers, the Duchess of York, now enjoying a second wind of popularity thanks to her candor and charm, refused to issue any apology. When questioned about the supposed feud, Fergie simply smiled and said, "Oh, I don't think anyone should fear the truth, do you?" That one quote set off a firestorm. The tabloids went wild. Social media exploded with side-by-side comparisons. The Duchess who stayed versus the Duchess who strayed. For Meghan, it was a nightmare. Her carefully polished image, all soft neutrals, curated compassion, and California calm, was being shredded in real time. And then came the real blow. Someone no one knew exactly who began leaking old Hollywood photos, private events, yeah, parties. Glamorous, yes, but taken wildly out of context. Yet online, sleuths didn't care about context, but cared about drama. Suddenly, Meghan's past, long buried and reinvented, was being dissected frame by frame by frame. Inside Montecito, the tension was suffocating. Harry was reportedly livid, not just at the palace or Fergie, but at how every single move they made seemed to trigger another avalanche. You tried to shield Meghan from it before. The press, the rumors, the relentless headlines. But this was personal. The Windsor family had closed ranks, and the woman he loved was once again the outsider on the firing line. But Meghan wasn't retreating. If they wanted a PR war, she'd give them one. A new wave of calculated appearances followed. Meghan was seen leaving a private women's leadership luncheon in Italy, radiating calm confidence, smiling for cameras as if untouched by the chaos swirling around. Her name, her look, chic, monochrome. Immaculate, the opposite of rattled. But behind that signature smile was something else, defiance. Every time they come for me, she reportedly told a friend, I come back stronger. And to her credit, she did. Meghan had built her brand on resilience, and if the British press thought a few headlines would make her fold, they underestimated the woman who'd walked away from royalty itself. Still, the cracks were showing. Fergie, meanwhile, continued her quiet charm. Offensive. She appeared on a daytime talk show, dropping anecdotes that towed the line between nostalgia and revelation. She didn't name names, but her stories about royal newcomers who wanted crowns before they earned them didn't need much decoding. The audience, but the clip went viral. And suddenly, the story wasn't about Fergie's comments anymore. It was about Meghan's reaction. I was talking Gen Z. I'd say slay. Entertainment shows ran the footage side by side. Meghan's forced smiles at a charity gala. Fergie's knowing grin on daytime TV. The internet picked sides. Team Fergie trended. Duchess vs Duchess hit 1 million tweets in a day. Montecito, the mood shifted from fury to strategy. Meghan's PR circle knew what was happening. The narrative had turned. The former Duchess wasn't being seen as the wronged woman anymore. She was being painted as the aggressor, the manipulator, the Hollywood Duchess who can't take criticism. So Meghan made a decision that stunned even her closest advisors. She would speak on camera, not a documentary, not a podcast, something bigger. The project, insiders whispered, would be raw, unfiltered, and personal. The tell-all conversation about truth, womanhood, and reclaiming one's story from lies. It was meant to silence the whispers. But in the royal world, silence is often louder than words. Meghan's voice, no matter how polished, always carried a risk because every statement, every quote, every tear became another headline. And as Meghan planned her televised moment of truth, something unexpected happened. Fergie's allies began talking. Old acquaintance, former royal aides, friends who remembered those early days when Meghan first entered the royal fold. And the whispers were not kind. What had started as one woman's attempt to defend herself had spiraled into a media battlefield, a clash of duchesses, loyalty, and legacy. But the real question wasn't who would. It was who would survive the fallout. Because as one palace insider reportedly put it, Fergie's been through hell and back. Meghan's still learning that when you fight the crown always fights back harder. And by the time Meghan's reclaiming her truth project hit pre-production, the storm outside her Montecito mansion was already brewing into something far larger and far more dangerous than anyone could have predicted.